Congressman. So look, let's be clear. You got a mayor in New York City who basically is trying to chase Ken Griffin and anybody in his tax bracket out of town. You have a governor in Gavin Newsom who likes to brag about being a fairly taxed state. Well, meanwhile, if you're at the top end of the spectrum, I think you'd beg to differ. Are we going to hear the great sucking sound for this nation as the wealth begins to concentrate in the Sunshine State?
I just want to watch that segment about 4 more times. That was so precious. Thank you for what y'all are showing off about what's so great about what's happening in Florida and those train wrecks of states around the country. Look, the state of Florida, I'll give you one snapshot. November of 2020, we had 300,000 more registered Democrats than Republicans in the state of Florida. Now we've got 1.4 million more registered Republicans than Democrats. People are moving to the state of Florida because they want to keep their money. I was the chief financial officer of the state of Florida for almost 9 years. I left it in the best fiscal health that's ever been in the history of the state. But it doesn't happen overnight. It's not a sprint. It's a march. And I would tell my team, and I would tell our constituents, and I would, more importantly, tell our government that the people of the state of Florida spend their money better than government does.
You know, it's difficult to remember back that, forgotten election between now Governor DeSantis and at the time Mayor Gillum, trying to figure out if that purple state was going to end up being blue or red. Seems like a distant memory. I mean, Florida trending quite red. I want to talk a little bit about people leaving those high-tax blue states coming to Florida. Particularly, there's been a phrase people have been throwing around in your state, allodial taxes, basically saying that we're going to try to get rid of property taxes down there in the state of Florida. Basically, you own the dirt for life. Obviously, I think things are going well in Florida right now. The question some people might have is, if you get rid of the property taxes effectively for life, how do you begin to deal with the budgetary concerns, given the fact that you already don't have any type of income tax, which is what's bringing people through those doors in the first place?
Sure. I think there is a philosophical block that we have in our heads that, I bought a house. Why don't I own my house? It still feels like the government owns it because of the liability you have, because of how punitive property tax is. Property taxes are actually the most punitive tax that ever could be established. You lose your home if you don't pay them. So this is where the philosophy has come, is how do we make that transition? I was in the state legislature a long time ago, and I happened to have a Speaker of the House. At that time, it was a guy by the name of Marco Rubio. You may have heard him. And Marco was a champion for this idea that we were going to transition from property taxes on your primary residence and go to a sales tax. So you would take and replace your property tax on your primary residence, and we would increase sales tax about 2.5%. This was a chance that we were taking to start to transition out. But again, there's a lot of people, just how you pointed out, that get very uncomfortable. How are we going to continue to fund local governments if we do not have that punitive property tax being collected every single year by those local governments? Again, we need to think outside of the box. We need to be able to continue to do more for our citizens, because at the end of the day, it's their money. It's not government's money.
Absolutely. Buy dirt and throw away the rest. Congressman, always good to see you, my friend. God bless. We'll talk soon.
See you. Thanks for having me.